Nice shot there of Central Park. It's a little cloudy, but Vanessa says the sun is going to come out later today. 47 degrees, 8:40. Welcome back to CBS 2 News Sunday morning. Tuesday is Veterans Day, a chance for us to pause and honor our nation's heroes. This morning, though, we're getting an early look at a project aimed at giving the world a closer look at one of America's elite group of service members.
So all the rockets are real, all the rounds are real. What it's fostering in you is your ability to react under extreme adversity and to be able to clearly think under a lot of stress.
Jeff Bramstedt and Bill Doyle join me now to tell us more about Navy SEALs, their untold story. Thank you both so much for being here.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for having us.
We'll talk about the documentary and the book that goes along with it in just a moment. But Jeff, let me start with you. How long were you a Navy SEAL for, and what made you want to serve?
I was a Navy SEAL for 13 years, and you know, what made me want to serve was, well, the honest answer is I was bored at the time.
Right.
It kind of seemed like a good idea at the time, and there wasn't media then. Nobody knew who SEALs were. There wasn't movies. There wasn't all the headlines and stuff going on. You know, so my younger brother joined the Navy before I did and said, "Hey, there's this group of guys in the military. They do everything we did as kids, only it's legal." So I started thinking. I said, "Well, you know, burning things down, blowing things up, drive fast. Sign me up." And I really didn't know what I was getting into until a little bit later, when I got into SEAL training, got into BUDS, got to see what it was.
I can't even imagine how tough it is. You hear about it, but I can't imagine going through it, what it's like.
Yeah, it's intense. It's intense. No 2 days the same, that's for sure.
Bill, let me ask you, the documentary, the Navy SEALs, Their Untold Story, you are co-producer on it, and you also co-wrote the book with the same name. Tell us a little bit about this project and why you wanted to tell their story.
Well, there's never been a full, complete history of the SEALs and their predecessors from World War II through today. We thought they deserved that, but only if we could speak to the men who made the history, like the man to my right, Jeff Bramstedt. So what we did was we went back in time. In this book and in this film, you will meet a man who was one of the first people on the beach at Omaha Beach, who had 26 minutes to blow open a maze of terrible obstacles that the Nazis had put there to block the liberation of Europe. His colleagues in World War II blew up most of the beaches under fire with minimal equipment to pave the way for the liberation of Asia and the Pacific. Similar stories we tell, and we introduce you to these men in the PBS documentary and the book, did incredible things that have never, many of which have never been told before until now, until this book and TV special on PBS in Korea, in Vietnam, on secret assignment for the CIA. This story has never been told before. We tell the story of multiple Medal of Honor winners in Vietnam, one of whom saved the other one's life.
Right. Wow. And there's been a lot of interest, especially since the Osama bin Laden raid, about the Navy SEALs. There's been a lot in the press recently of SEALs telling their stories. What's different, though, that I found interesting about your book and this project, the military actually vetted it. Is that correct?
We were very careful to run this project by the Pentagon for a security review. We thought that was a essential thing to do. That enabled former special operators to talk to us, and it also reduced the risk of our releasing anything accidentally that might hurt our nation's security. So that was very important to us to do, and we did that.
And Jeff, why was it important for you to be a part of this?
Well, I think it's really important for people to understand what goes on behind the headlines. You know, people see all the fancy stuff that happens. You know, the bat signal goes up, and they, you know, SEALs show up and do their thing. But then, what happens after that? What happens in between there? Who are the guys that are behind this? You really get involved in the men. You get to see what these guys are about. What is their I guess their character. Right. What is their what are they like when they're not operating? You get to really get a chance at you see some guys getting emotional, and you know, it's pretty neat. And
we just have a few seconds left. Let me ask you, a lot of people, a lot of men would love to be a SEAL, but they can't, not everyone can do it.
Right.
But there are some qualities that men can take on, and that's part of the work that you're doing now that you've left the SEALs. Right?
Yes. Now I have an organization called Life of Valor, and it's a faith-based, basically men's conference series that we do. So we take the SEAL ethos and really just try to get guys to live by a code, you know. So that's what we do now.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for being here. And the documentary airs on Tuesday on PBS. We appreciate it. Happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Appreciate it.